What up, YouTube? It's your boy Anime Specialist. So another good episode of The Promised Neverland. There's a lot to talk about, so let's get right to it, man. So in last week's episode, Mother broke Emma's leg, and I'm still shocked that she did that. That's crazy. I never anticipated that she would do something like that, but she really did. And now Emma is kind of out for like 2 months right now, so by this time, maybe I think Norman or Ray would be shipped up, so they have to find a way to escape the farm. So I'm not gonna lie, I thought in this episode I would get more answers than questions, but it's the complete opposite. I have even more questions now than I had last week, because if you remember last week's episode, we saw the sister Crone die. She left a note though, but we still haven't seen this note yet. The only thing that we really learned is that beyond the wall, before we see this big forest, there's a cliff, so they can't really escape by that way. So that's kind of crazy. I really didn't think that that would be a thing. The first time when we saw Norman climb the wall, we saw him watching and seeing the forest. They didn't show us that there was a cliff. It's at the end of the episode that they showed us, and that's pretty crazy, man. So now I don't really know how they're going to escape the farm, and the only way that they can is by the gate. That's the only way that I know that they can escape the farm right now. So that's kind of crazy. I really didn't expect that to happen. I don't know how they did this cliff like that, but yeah, man, it's pretty crazy. I think that if it was only Norman, Ray, Emma, Don, and Gilda, they would find a way to escape by that way, but they're going to escape with all the kids. There's even kind of babies with them, so they can't escape by that way. It would be too difficult for the younger kids, because if you remember, Norman and Ray and Emma are only 12 years old, so the other kids are like 6, 5, 4 years old. So that's gonna be way too hard for them to escape by that way. And I just want to talk about something. I want to talk about Phil, this kid, and two other kids that we saw in this episode, because there's something pretty weird about them. So this happened when Mother said that Norman was gonna get not shipped out, but he was adopted by a family, quote unquote. We know that that's not gonna happen, but yeah, that's when it happened, and we saw Phil again. He looked a little bit suspicious. It looks like he knows something that we don't, or he knows that they're not going to go to families, they're going to get shipped out or something like that. And these two kids, they know something that we don't, or something like that. So they're pretty fishy. They seem to know what's happening in this farm. They seem to know what Ray, Emma, Norman, Gilda, and Don knows. So that's pretty crazy. I really think that these three guys are going to be really, really important to the story. So we'll have to see in the future. And it isn't the first time that we've seen them with these kind of reaction. We saw these two in last week's episode when Mother was bringing Emma with her in her arms. We saw their reaction. They kind of seemed like something wrong was happening. So I know there's something that they know. And the other guy, Phil, it's not the first time that we've seen him. He looks innocent, but it seems like he know more than we know. So like I said, we'll have to see what's gonna happen next in the Promised Neverland series. The other thing that I want to talk about is Ray. In this episode, we learned something really, really interesting about him. It's pretty weird, but he says that he remembers everything since he was a fetus. So he remembers being in a woman's body. He remembers everything. So that's kind of crazy that he remembers that. That's a weird case. It doesn't happen often, he said. I don't even know if it happens in the real world, in our world. So yeah, man, he remembers everything, and that's how he knows about the farm, about them being shipped. That's why he knows. He's been knowing since he was a fetus. So that's really crazy, man, that he's been having this inside of him without telling anyone since he was a baby, man. That's crazy. But yeah, man, it was a pretty good episode. I thought I would get more information than what we got in this episode. I really want to know what Sister Crone wrote on that letter. They didn't show us yet. I thought that they would show us in this episode. Hopefully, they'll show us in next week's episode. But yeah, man, there's a lot more that we don't know right now. I think that the three kids that are talked about, Phil and those two that you're seeing right now, are really, really important. They know something that we don't. They know something. They know more than we know they know, you know. So we'll have to see what's going to happen. I really want to know how they're going to escape, because the only way that they can is by the gate, and we know that by the gate there's the headquarters, there's the demons, there's the adults, so it's going to be really, really difficult. I think that they're gonna show us Emma, Norman, Ray, and the kids escape in the last episode of the season. That's what anime does. That's what TV show does. So we'll have to wait like 2 or 3 episodes before that happens. But yeah, man, it's a really, really good series. If you haven't picked it up yet, you gotta pick it up. Don't read the manga, but yeah, man, I'm really not surprised, but I really like this series right now. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Death Note because of the mind games and everything. It's about smarts, it's about being intelligent, it's about making plans and everything. So, yeah, man. Let me know what you thought about this week's episode in the comments down below. Let me know what you think is gonna happen next with these kids, how they're gonna escape, and how they're gonna save Norman. You know, so yeah, man. I do the Promised Neverland reviews every Thursday, so subscribe for that. And I do other anime related things like Black Clover reviews on Tuesdays, One Piece, Sword Art Online, and Fairy Tail reviews on Saturdays. And I'm waiting for the Boruto Naruto Next Generation anime to go out of filler and catch up to the manga to review it. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Anime Specialist out. Peace.